Joined now by one of the most highly anticipated rookies in all of the NFL, not Travis Hunter, head coach Liam Coen. You are a rookie.
I am.
How's it going? Have you had your welcome to the NFL moment yet?
Oh, man. Well, obviously your introductory press conference, when it's goes as well as it did, you're excited about it, But no, thank you for having me, Kay.
Thank you for being here. It's always nice to be I know what you were really doing. You wanted to be the story to distract from all the other storylines, as every good, high-qualified coach does.
Well, you look at the success of Nick Sirianni and Dan Campbell of biting kneecaps, and those guys having success, you want to follow suit.
You just mentioned when we met. We met in Tampa at a Starbucks. Coach Kevin O'Connell was there before either of you were head coaches. Who are you most excited to call after that Duval? Or who?
I was probably – Sean always helps, but – kind of ease the mind. Sean McVay does.
Sean eases the mind?
He does. He has great, actually, insight for as mental as he can be in a great way. He has, he's always had such great insight for me as a coach. But really going to the owners' meetings and talking to Nick Sirianni and those guys actually gave me a ton of great advice. Like, dude, just your team will actually rally around you, because these guys get criticized and scrutinized in the media all the time. So when their coach does, they actually help rally and get around you a little bit more.
I think you did that on purpose.
That's, I think, looking back at it.
I know you did. Okay, so you're here at Jacksonville. Take me from that moment with that Duval, with that intro press conference, to now. What is one thing that you've learned about Jacksonville, this fan base, this organization?
Yeah, I mean, football is important. That's the reality. If you go back and really look at the history and the tradition of, you look at 95, 96, the early years, I mean, the place was packed when they were rolling. And you look at the 22 playoff game and how packed it was, and the support from the fan base in the city. I mean, they want that, right? And it's our job ultimately to put out a product that people can be proud of, and that's of being physical, tough, and fundamentally smart. So those are the things that you ultimately feel from the people around here, and ultimately it's our job to go and do something about it.
Trevor Lawrence, every player I've talked to loves him. They love talking to him. I just saw Travis Hunter working with him even after practice. How would you describe his leadership style?
Trevor is his own person. He's very much cerebral in terms of the way he communicates with everybody, right? He doesn't change his stripes just based on who he's interacting with. And because he is just innately such a good guy and a good person, he has the ability to pull people aside in his own way and just be honest with them. And that kind of hits home, I think, for a lot of players, where maybe he's not rah-rah, jumping up and down and getting guys maybe fired up. He can pull them aside and just maybe have a quick conversation that hits home. And he has a great way, and he's led in terms of the operation, the cans, the alignment, the assignment, the motions. So that right there is him leading without saying a word, just by going and doing his job at a high level. That's been pretty cool to see.
That's what your rookie Travis Hunter said about you, that you are direct and honest, I believe. So that maybe is a quality that you share with your quarterback, which I love. Speaking of distractions, as we're playing Risk here, checkers or chestnut checkers, the Travis Hunter show, not here, but from the outside world, is a distraction. What is the main thing that it's distracting from? What is going on this offense or defense that you are not trying to let the world know about?
No, for him, he's done this for a long time, right? The back and forth, both sides of the ball. But for an NFL organization, it's different, right? So from a logistics standpoint of his schedule, it is just slightly different than everybody else. There's every moment of his day here is packed, right? Like, so when maybe other guys are in a special teams meeting, well, he's got an offense or defensive meeting. When there's maybe a little break in time during the day, he has another meeting. So it's not that it stresses your resources thin, because we had to prepare for this. Everybody in the organization was prepared for this, but ultimately everybody has to be on board. And you have to use your resources, and our coaches have done a nice job so far.
You're an or guy. I'm seeing this depth chart for this first preseason game with the Steelers. Like I've never seen before. How much thought, and who's in the room? How do you land on the ors? Because everyone's obsessed with they're going to drop the depth chart and snap counts and all of that. How much thought do you put into this? Because truly, you're setting a precedent. We might not ever see this again, but this is the first time we've ever dealt with something like Travis.
Yeah, like when James kind of brought the idea up about a month before the draft, you start to have these thoughts, right? You're like, well, okay, that came out of nowhere a little bit in a great way. We were all pumped, but your wheels start to turn, and I got with my assistant head coach Jay Kaiser, Shane Waldron, Grant Udinsky, Campanelli. You start to brainstorm, like, what could this actually look like in terms of deployment and what's realistic, but we still don't know. We don't know what actually is realistic. We don't know how many snaps he can truly go play in a game on both sides of the ball. So we'll see a little bit more Saturday night.
Can you give me like a little something on Saturday night?
There'll be a little bit.
What will we see out of him?
I think, we're going to play everybody. That's this, like, kind of talking about the standards of, man, we got new systems on both sides of the ball. We only have the one joint practice against Miami this year, so we need as many reps as we can get, especially against a high-quality opponent like Pittsburgh that plays a physical brand of football that we're also ultimately trying to emulate and get to. So we're going to play everybody. How much, we still are yet to have that exact number, but I got to believe, hey, first groups are going to play at least a quarter of football.
He's a starting wide receiver, backup corner. Are you going to play more at corner in this game to brush him up there, get it better against a physical team, or are you going to play more on offense?
So he very naturally, when he got here, his most natural, if you would just say position, is probably corner. Like, without a lot of coaching in the National Football League, what can he go do? Maybe
Fair.
The easiest was corner. So hence why we deployed him so much more on offense throughout the spring and summer, was to develop the offensive skill set that maybe just wasn't quite there yet, because corner was so natural. He's done some great things out here. So I think it'll probably be balanced, but maybe, as you mentioned, a little bit more defensive strong.
So you're thinking about, like, a month before the draft, you're like, this is how we're going to use him. Was there a plan all along that you're now just sort of letting us into, or has it changed and evolved based off what you've seen?
Yeah, it's evolved.
And how?
Right. Yeah, like that was, when we created a schedule and you're trying to fill in all the time slots to make sure that his time is maximized, our time is maximized, what we learned in the spring was, well, the more days he goes without getting on the other side of the ball, at least in a meeting or a walkthrough, not good.
Yeah.
We can't do that. We've got to make sure that every single day he has a touch point with both sides of the ball to keep him going on the right track of the installs. That was a learning moment for us in the spring where, man, training camp, we tweaked it. We altered it and made sure that every single day he's getting coached by both sides of the ball, and it's helped. You can definitely see it's helped.
This rookie just sat here before you and said it's not hard at all.
Yeah.
Like, decisively almost cut me off to get to that. Say, like, I said, how hard is it? It's not hard at all. Can you co-sign that?
I mean, I think there's probably been, more challenges in terms of learning an offensive system, right?
I don't know. It doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, he took great jump from the spring to now in terms of alignment, assignment. The work, I think, that he's put in on his own, I think, has probably been more than we get to see. Football makes sense to him. Like, you kind of say that's a football player. That's what he is. And his conditioning is something that is pretty impressive. Like, he's obviously been in altitude for a few years training.
Oh, fair.
Which definitely, I think, can help him. But, our strength coach this summer at the end of June texted me and just said, like, you were right, he doesn't fatigue much. Right, it takes a lot to fatigue him, so we'll see how that looks with how many snaps he can play.
People can't understand it.
Yeah,
it's funny because I think people are more curious or saying it's impossible or whatever. Right. He really takes that. I just learned that right now. It's like a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
He sees it not as they don't understand or like let me show them like what which is sort of how I would maybe receive it, or at least as an outsider. But he's seeing like you think you're talking down on me is what he said. But like let's use that, right, Coach? Have that chip on your shoulder.
Absolutely.
You human smelling salt, you right? That's
unfortunately,
exactly what he is.
Yeah, that's just the way. Like if you're gonna just run a guy on go balls if he's on defense, like that's not realistic.
Got it.
Like you're not going to change your system to make one guy tired. Although I think it's funny.
How much is Trevor Lawrence like bringing you Waffle House every morning and saying I need him more on offense?
Well, yeah,
the defense. What's the campaigning game?
The coaches probably argued a little bit more.
I figured.
Early on, just especially getting them into the systems. You want them as much as you can have them. But I think our staff, our coaches, our athletic trainers, our strength, sports science, media, everybody's been hands-on and have done a great job so far.
I saw that your dad said that you started drawing up plays on a chalkboard at age 4. Have any of those plays made it into this playbook?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we ran one yesterday. So it was wing T, right? He ran the wing T, and it was, all kind of goes back to misdirection, gap schemes and misdirection. And that was all what it was about. And a lot of the things actually we did last year in Tampa with 2 running backs at the same time with Bucky and Rashad, a lot of that kind of stemmed from the wing T and using some of the buck sweep. That's just pin and pull. We all run trap. I mean, belly, we all run the same plays, but
I don't know what you're talking about. 'Cause
yeah.
You've lost me. Belly, trap. Yeah, got it. Trevor Lawrence, I heard you. I've heard you speak so glowingly. You're so open about how you feel about him and the leaps that he's taken. What's one specific area that you're super proud that you have seen him take a leap in?
Yeah, I think his ownership of how much football and how much offense is probably being thrown at him. He's come out and said, yeah, this is a lot more on my plate than what I've maybe had in the past. Not to say we're trying to make it hard, right? It's not like longer play calls are cool. Mm-hmm. It's more just, okay, how much information are we giving you pre-snap for you to go and get us in the best play possible? That puts a lot on the quarterback. And his ownership of that, with no wristband, to just go out there and be able to operate this system at a high level so far, I think that's probably what I'm most proud of about him is his ownership of what we're trying to get done on offense. You
guys have to build chemistry in a hurry.
Yeah.
There's a preseason game. Like your new Travis connection needs to be sort of cemented. I hear from all sorts of different quarterbacks. Drake's taking his guys jet skiing and whatever. Is anything happen, like a bonding experience? What are you guys doing for fun?
They actually went to the Bahamas this summer.
Cool.
Trevor took really all of our skill players to the Bahamas. He paid for it all. He took care of it, where they went for, I think, a long weekend and worked out every day, got some throwing sessions in, and then also hung out as guys, just got away a little bit, got together. I thought that was a great moment for him to be able to go do that with those guys and get to know him, right? Because he's had a little bit more consistency at these skill positions with Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram being here for a while. He's got to get to know these guys on a personal level to serve before he can go lead them. And I think he's done a nice job of that.
Did you text them or did you leave them alone? Were you like, actually, we need to run that 4-year-old playbook thing, that jump trap, whatever you were just saying? Were you saying do this in the sand? What was your role in that? Really?
Let him go, man. Let him go. He's done it before, right? He's done it with other groups that he's had. He has a routine. He had it all set up, and I was happy that he was able to go do it.
I heard you tell our good friend Rich Eisen, Brian Thomas Jr., who we love, fantasy stud du jour, his ability to get out, in and out of breaks reminds you of Cooper Kupp, who you, of course, were close to. And we saw, Kevin O'Connell, of course, did his thing, taking a lot of those Kupp concepts and doing him with our guy JJ out in Minnesota. Are we going to see, what are the chances we see some of that out of BTJ?
Yeah, I think there's probably some similarities between all three of the systems in general, but what BT allows you to do is win at all 3 levels of the defense, because he can run by you.
Yeah.
He can also run some of the decision routes underneath, the choices and options. You can throw him a screen, and he can go be creative with the ball in his hands. That's what you talk about, winning at all 3 levels, and that's what Justin Jefferson can do against anybody. And BT has the talent, man. And, the one thing that we've continued to stress to him is, now you're not going to surprise anybody. Like, everybody knows who you are.
Fair.
You're going to probably see some doubles and some different coverages that maybe you saw last year. That's why practice every day has got to be super intentional to take your game to the next level. And he showed some cool glimpses of it in our scrimmage the other night. He had like 6 for 110 and 2 touchdowns. So it was cool to watch him.
I can't wait to see what he does against the Steelers. I know you're playing everybody and getting the chemistry going. I'm of course loving that. Who's the most jealous of all that group of guys? You, Kevin, all those guys. Sean, who do you think's the most jealous of the Travis Hunter thing? Who's the most like, you got him? There has to be one.
All
of them?
Think, yeah, I mean, they've all had so many good plays. Like, obviously, JJ is one of I have a lot of respect for him, and Puka over in LA, and he got Devontae now. So I think they have their weapons. I don't know if they can be too jealous, but I'm sure, just like anybody, I mean, it's always nice when the guy that you go up and get is one of your hardest workers that is in here. He does extra. He meets with as many people as he possibly can. And there's humility there. Really? So that's been exciting.
I know you're focused on preseason, but you've got week 7.
Yep.
in London, as you're seeing here.
Yep.
You on one sideline, McVay on the other sideline. What comes to mind? Let's visualize that.
Yeah, that's an honor, honestly. I mean, I just read a stat the other day that he's got like one of the most playoff wins since 2017, and he's one of the longest tenured head coaches in the National Football League, and he was hired at 30. So to be a part of that journey for him and to learn so much from Sean as I did for 4 years working for him it'll be an honor to line up against them, and it'll be fun to compete against the guy that has helped mold you and shape so many of your ideas and your culture and the way that you operate as a head coach. That'll be a fun moment.
Very sweet, but I wish you would talk a little more trash
I can't.
on that. But we'll get there. We'll
can't.
get there. Last one for you. I just came to my mind. I heard about Travis Hunter's rookie performance singing. Are we making Coach do that?
No. You
You
don't
don't have
hear.
to sing Coach doesn't have to sing a rookie song in front of the entire team.
You don't want to hear that.
We've heard a little Duval, so I feel like we've got the. If you had to sing one song in front of your team, which one? What would it be?
Oh my gosh.
I love that. That's the tough question I ask. I'm like, how do you
What
use
is
this
it? Remember the
unprecedented
Titans.
machine of a?
What is it? Remember the Titans. Ain't no mountain high. What was
Ain't
that
no
one? Oh
rally
yeah, that
low.
one. I go there.
There's a lot of range there.
Yeah, I don't know if I can pull it off.
I
but
think this team should hold you a little bit more accountable. No, Coach, I appreciate it so
Thank
much.
you.
Congratulations on just what's ahead and bringing this honestly hungry, loyal fan base some hope for this year.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.